Is there a such thing as too little or even too much money to start off with when you're learning how to day trade? I'm going to give you my thoughts and opinions on what I think is the appropriate amount to start off with right after this really awesome intro that's coming up like right now. Just cue the music. So I think the obvious answer to some of this question, that is there such thing as too little to start off with day trading? It's probably a more simpler answer, but I think what a lot of people don't really kind of wrap their head around or don't really talk about as much is that maybe there is too much to start off with. And I think that there's an argument that can be made for both sides. I'm going to share them with you in just a sec. But before I do, I just want to welcome you to this channel. Welcome to Own the Chaos. My name is Brad. This channel is dedicated to being your own boss, whether it's in day trading, owning your own business. It's evolved a little bit over the past several months, and I'm enjoying every moment of this process. It's been really awesome. You guys have been so supportive. So if you want to see more content such as this and you're new to this channel, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel, as well as hit that notification bell to get notified whenever I put out some juicy content that you're going to get a ton of value out of. So how much money should you be starting off with when learning how to day trade? It's a question that I think that ultimately you have to end up answering for yourself on how much you're willing to lose, right? We talk a lot. I think the common theme is just, the amount of money that you start off with, you have to be comfortable with losing every last dime of it. And if you're not, then you need to start saving up some more. Now, I know a lot of you are probably looking for arbitrary numbers. So if you're starting off with anything less than $1,000, I think you're selling yourself short and you're setting yourself up for potential failure because of the amount of money that you could be losing in potential losses, because you really don't have a whole lot of an idea of what it is that you're doing. Or, if you are using a brokerage that charges you brokerage fees such as commissions and the like, you're going to be getting eaten alive by stuff like that if you're using a small amount of cash. So if you start off with less than $1,000, you're probably going to be setting yourself up for failure in the long term. Maybe even short term if you just decide to full account something, but hopefully you're not in that boat and you have a little bit more common sense than that. But having said that, I really wouldn't recommend starting with anything less than $1,000. Now onto the other side of this, which I think is a little bit more of the interesting topic here. Can you start off with too much? I think the answer is yes. If you're starting off with 50K, even $100,000, first of all, nice job. Congrats to you. If you got 100K laying around or even $50,000 laying around that you can trade with and that you're okay with losing, good on you. Way to go. Nice job saving up all that money and being successful enough to be able to afford to do that. However, I want to be able to protect that money for you as well. So I wouldn't suggest just trading all of that money all at once. If you don't want to fall under the PDT rule and you have that much money to throw around, that's fine. I would say maybe just starting off with 30K. That way you're at least, giving yourself some room. But please be cautious. Please understand that, throwing your whole account at some other position could really lead you to disaster. You could lose a lot of money that way. If you're going to trade with that much money, make sure that you're taking position sizes that are reasonable. I would say, depending on what you're trading, but if you trade penny stocks like I do, taking no more than a $1,000 to $3,000 position size is more than enough to kind of get your feet wet and have you learn how this market works, especially in the market that I trade in. And so even if you have a large amount of money to play with, I wouldn't suggest taking any more than $1,000 to $3,000 per position, because that minimizes your risk. Even though you have a lot to play with, you can afford to lose a little bit more than say somebody starting off with $1,000. You still want to make sure that you're on the winning side of this. So managing that risk and minimizing your risk is ultimately what's going to lead you to your success. So if you're not taking large positions, that means you're not risking as much. So in theory, that's going to set you up for the best possible success. I have a pretty sizable account myself, as I've been trading for quite some time. And so for me, I don't even take position sizes more than $5,000 most of the time, unless I'm super confident about a particular position and I'm intentionally swinging for the fences. Now, going back to those of you who have a smaller account, I just want to stress to you guys that, even if you have a smaller account, you're only starting off with $1,000, you have to be extra careful on managing your risk. I honestly would suggest that if you think that you can start off with $1,000, just wait. paper trade a little bit, continue saving that money. The real sweet spot for me, I think, especially for somebody who has a smaller account and just starting out, is $5,000. If you start off with $5,000, that allows you enough wiggle room to where if you make some mistakes along the way, you can afford those. And I would only suggest taking $500 to $700 positions with that $5,000. Even that $700 mark is starting to get a little heavy when you only have $5,000 to work with. Also understand that you fall under that PDT rule, which means you can't make more than 3 day trades within that 5 business day period. So be conscious of that. I always suggest having a cash account if you have under $25,000 to play with, because that way you kind of avoid that mess and you can kind of rotate that money around in a way that you can avoid that PDT that ultimately frees your money up, keeps you pretty liquid, and really kind of helps you build your account to that 25K much faster than trying to keep track of it all and potentially falling victim to that suspension because you violated the PDT rule. But that topic's probably good for another video, so I'll save that nugget of knowledge for another time. So nevertheless, thank you so much for tuning in. Please check all the links down in the description. I have a morning mentorship where I go live with folks from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern time, and I am in a chat room with those folks all throughout the day. So if you're looking to learn how to make money in the stock market, specifically with penny stocks, I'm your guy. Check me out over at WeTradeHQ.com. Again, links are down in the description below. And that is it for me, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. As always, I will see you all before the bell, and B Smith is out.